If you don't even like football and you're being dragged to a Super Bowl party because it's your friends, Liz is like, that's me. Hello. Here's something that's going to make you feel like you know everything about football.
Ooh,
This one fact. It's Rob and Liz, his morning crew on his radio. Here's the thing that's going to be the big question mark when the Super Bowl happens next weekend.
Okay.
The question mark is, wait a minute. This is an LA Rams stadium at the Super Bowl, which is rare that kind of thing happens.
Oh,
They're
sure.
always, just so happens they won, and it's going to be at their stadium. But they're going to be the away team in their own home stadium.
And why does that happen? Did they flip a coin?
No.
Okay.
No. So here's what's going to make you sound, because people are going to ask, what's going on? How come the LA Rams are the away team in their own stadium for the Super Bowl at their own stadium? And it's because of this. The reason's simple. AFC and NFC alternate the conference. So AFC is the home team for the even-numbered Super Bowls, and the NFC is the home team for the odd-number ones.
I am so confused. AFC?
No, this is supposed to make you sound smart.
Okay, hold on. AFC.
They're conferences.
Who's who in AFC and who's the NFC?
Oh, boy.
Like, literally, I have no idea.
I thought I made this simple and easy.
I'm sorry. I know I have tried to understand the game of football, and I have no idea. I cannot understand it, and I don't know. I don't know what first downs and turnovers and.
So this is not going to make you sound smart.
There's nothing I could say about football that would make me smart.
Just know it's not a home run. It's a touchdown.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
Live long and prosper. His morning crew with Rob and Liz, his radio.
Or nanu.
If you turn your hand the right way, yes.
And two things are characteristic if you say the word Spock in Star Trek, which is the live long and prosper.
Right.
So it's the
With
hand,
the hand
thing, right?
What do you even call that?
You call that a greeting from Vulcan.
From Vulcan. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought I had
Or it could be the pointy ears.
Sure.
Two characteristics that some people know about Spock if they're into Star Trek.
And the eyebrows. I have Spock eyebrows, so I always remember that.
Liz has Spock eyebrows?
Yeah, because they go up until a point. Yeah.
Okay. Well, then there
I'm
you
Vulcan.
go. So here's the thing. The original Star Trek, the original Spock, which is Leonard Nimoy, the ears that he had on the show are now going off to the Smithsonian.
Which is so weird to think about. So there was only one pair the whole time he was on the show?
A pair.
Okay.
The pair that the family has.
Wow, that's kind of cool, though, that the family said, okay, we can part with, this iconic memorabilia from our dad.
And so they'll be on display at the Air and Space Museum in Washington, D.C., at the Smithsonian. And they have a whole display of Star Trek anyway.
They do. They have the
That's there.
captain's chair.
It's crazy. The bridge and everything is right there at the Smithsonian.
It is very cool. I sat in Captain Kirk's chair and I was just like, yes, this is awesome.
She's
I'm
geeking out.
Right.
Now the whole display, I mean, it's in a little glass case. And the cool thing is that his son brought it there. And his son, Leonard Nimoy's son, looks just like him.
He does.
It's uncanny.
It is. And I'm glad they've put it in like a glass box or a case, because can you imagine everybody walking up and popping them on their own ears?
Yeah, right? Yeah, people would try to do that.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
So here's Brandon. He's 2, and he's in his mama's room. It's the middle of the night. Starts tapping her on the feet.
Yeah. And he says, Mama, hot. Mama, hot. And those are some of the few words that he knows how to say. Kept saying it over and over and over.
Yeah, it turns out they had COVID. And so the family's not feeling too well. And one of the things that goes when you have COVID is the sense of taste and smell, right? So they can't taste anything. They can't smell anything. And as Kayla is hearing her sweet baby say, what?
Mama, hot.
She glimpses through the door and sees flames of fire in the hallway.
And 2-year-old Brandon saved their lives. There's 7 people in that family, and because he got up and knew something was hot, something wasn't right, and he was sent in to wake Mom and Dad up.
Yeah, and here's the thing, too. The fire alarms didn't work.
Yeah.
They had no idea.
Nobody in the family knew what was going on.
So the fire alarm's not working, or the smoke detectors, whatever you call those things, and then they can't smell anything, so they couldn't smell the smoke. And God sends in the 2-year-old to tap on the feet of mama.
Exactly, because that he knew those words. I mean, what if he would have just said, Mama, Mama, Mama? She would have said, go back to bed, Brandon. I'm trying to sleep. I don't feel good. Possibly. But because he could say hot, and that was out of character, especially at 2 o'clock in the morning, they got up. The family is saved. They did lose the house.
The house is gone completely.
Oh, so sad.
That could have been bad for them.
It could have been.
And it still is. They don't have anything now. They lost everything. But they do have their lives.
They have their family.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
I mean, there's like this trash everywhere. And it's just horrible. If there was only a way to clean up the trash, especially all the cigarette butts that are all over the place. They're disgusting. It's Rob and Liz, his morning crew on his radio.
I know how you can do it. Now,
How?
let me tell you, I can't train my dog, so I don't know how these people did this, but there are some people in Sweden, a little town in Sweden, that they were sitting around thinking, let's train the crows that are all over the place to pick up the cigarette butts and some of the other trash. And it took off. They're doing it. They're training crows with food to get cigarette butts off the streets, fly over, pick it up, take it to a vending machine.
What?
Right. Put it in the top of the vending machine. And when they deposit the cigarette butt, the birdseed comes out the bottom. And they're training the crows.
in the world discovered this?
That's what I'm saying. How did that come up in conversation? And how did you find a second person to go, hey, let's do that?
Great idea. I know how to train the crows.
How?
I'm talking like them.
I thought
That's
you
not
trained
me.
crows on the weekend. I didn't know.
Yeah, that's me.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
Ooh, a super fan, and she knows how to celebrate his morning crew with Rob and Liz, his radio.
I have a feeling you're talking about Irma.
Yeah.
Because she dances when her team wins. We're talking about Cincinnati Bengals.
Absolutely.
And so on the eve of when they were playing and before they won, she got up and she was reprising her dancing role that she did with Dre Kirkpatrick. He's no longer on that team, so he's gone. But if you remember a couple of years ago when they won, there was this, this is the coolest thing. It was a tailgate party that she was dancing at her nursing home. Irma is 95 years old. You may have seen this. It was all over Twitter because this football player put it on Twitter. Millions of people saw her. It's 3 years later, and right before the Bengals were announced that they're going into the Super Bowl right before the game, she's dancing again, reprising her little role that she did.
And she is having a blast. This woman's smile is all across her face, and she's cutting the rug. I mean, she's got the moves.
Sure, yeah. I mean, she's 98 years old and still moving like that.
I know. And some of the moves, she's doing one where it almost looks like she's putting deodorant up under her armpits. Like she's
That's the deodorant move. Right?
I've never seen it before, but Irma has coined it. It's awesome.
She uses secrets.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
I've been to Central Park a couple of times, and you'll find a little bit of everything. There's dramas, Shakespeare in the Park will break out and things like this. Never have I seen a block of gold. Had I, you would have known about it. There was a block of gold that was found there worth $11 million. Just found in Central Park.
I think I've seen pictures of this. It's not just a little tiny block. This is like a huge thing you can sit on like a park bench.
It's 186 kilograms, which is a lot.
How do you find something like that? I mean, was it in the middle of the road?
No, it was just in some of the grass. There's very little grass, compared to where we live in Central Park. But it's an artist that put it there. His art, little avant-garde, a little out there, out of the box. And he decided that this was going to be where he showcased his art. Was in the middle of Central Park.
Okay, so let's back up.
Okay.
So this isn't really a big chunk of gold.
No, it's not like somebody just was delivering gold. Why you would do that, I don't know. And it fell off the back of the truck or something. No, he placed it there with his crew, placed it there.
But it's art. It's
art.
like gold-plated box.
It's not plated. It's solid gold.
The whole thing is really gold.
Yeah, it's worth $11.7 million. But keep in mind, gold's near $2,000 an ounce. So, yeah.
But why? Where's this guy get this kind of money just to chunk it out in Central Park for somebody to find?
I don't know. Art, I love art, but I don't understand a lot of art. There was an artist that had an invisible box that he sold for like tens of thousands of dollars, literally invisible. How do you sell something
that
that's
doesn't
intangible?
exist?
Right.
It doesn't exist. Yeah.
I don't get why some artists do some things like this, but a block of gold just in the middle of Central Park. And I understand how no one stole it because it weighed a ton. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, whatever.
I don't get art sometimes.
No, there was gold that I walked up on Central Park one time. Luis Palau,
Yeah.
who's an evangelist, did a whole crusade out there.
In Central Park.
Yeah, we were at it with his
Love
radio, which was amazing. And we walked around and we talked to people outside of the little crusade that was going on, just asking them what they thought about what happens after you pass away,
Yeah.
which opened up a lot of opportunity to talk about faith in Jesus.
Now that is what's priceless.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
Liz just had to tell you about the embarrassing moment about this weather guy who was doing the weather.
Yeah, I want to make him feel better because you're human. It's going to happen. He's doing the weather and, a little squeaker sneaker came out. And
So that's what she calls the passing of the gas, a squeaker sneaker.
well, I'm trying to be polite and cute it up a little bit, I guess.
Well,
but
that was not a sneaker. No.
He didn't try to do
Not
it.
on that. So
No.
it makes you think about some of those embarrassing moments, because that was embarrassing, right?
Yeah.
You'd think so.
really was.
His radio, 800-447-7234. What happened to you, John?
So many years ago when my wife and I were first going out, we stopped off at a store and parked next to parking was tight. And I get out of the car and it's summertime and I just hear this big dog barking as loud as it can. And I don't know how big this dog is, but I put the jets on right away. Forgot about my wife and everything and went screaming across that parking lot, through the store, all the way to the back of the store, and was still having a heart attack by the time she finally caught up with me. And she was laughing so hard she almost peed her pants.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
Talking about those embarrassing moments that can happen in your life, and sometimes it could be a noise
Could be a noise.
coming from you.
Or someone, that you know and love, and you're just like, what in the world did you just do in public? What is
And
happening?
then you pinch your nose. So, Joyce. This is Joyce. Joyce is here. What happened, Joyce?
My mom and I were she took me school shopping, and we were in a department store, and she was in one aisle, and she happened to bend over and strain a little bit to pick something up and made a little rumbly noise, and she got to giggling about it, and the more she giggled, the louder it got.
So what did you do?
I was so embarrassed. I walked 2 aisles over, and I could still hear her.
How old were you, Joyce?
I was probably about 16.
So you're over in the other aisle. Did you get away from it?
Oh, gosh, no, she followed me.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
Okay, Amanda texted and said, when I was in nursing school, we had a clinical rotation in labor and delivery, and a patient needed a shot, and it has to be given in her backside.
Okay.
And a student in her class, it was not her, but another student, was given the task of giving the shot. So she went in to the room with the teacher. The teacher said, now give it a good flick, talking about the needle.
The syringe.
Right, the syringe to get it started.
I've seen that in movies.
Exactly. Instead, the student flicked the patient's hind end.
Are you serious? Well, took it literal, I guess. Did you snort it? Did you snort? Was that Liz
was you.
Riles
That was
snorting? I've never heard you. I've never heard you snort.
I
hear it. That was hilarious. Okay, now we know when Liz really thinks something, it's extremely funny. The snort factor comes in.
I'm just thinking this girl or guy, I don't know if it's a girl or guy, just boop. And what did the patient say? What in the world? What are you doing?
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
You go to the mailbox. Let's say you're an 18-year-old high school student, 17. You go to the mailbox and you get a letter and it says, you have been accepted, and you get a full ride. Or you open your email and that's your note. 5,500 students at Oakland University, They had applied to go to school there, got that note that said, you just got a full ride.
Every single one of them?
5,500 kids.
Somebody's got some deep pockets to make that happen.
They actually don't. It was a human error that
no.
devastates me. We couldn't afford for me to really go to college, right? And so thinking about these students, because some of them were thinking, this is the only way I'm going to get to school. And oh my goodness, I get to go now. The school is saying it's not financially feasible to make that good for them to let 5,500 students.
I feel bad.
I do too. They're looking for different, unique, creative ways to give them at least some sort of a scholarship in some capacity, but not the full 4-year ride. There's another school in Michigan that did this. 58 kids got that letter. Different letter, but
same
still,
thing.
full
There was
ride.
a mess up with the system.
Yeah, they are going to, from last thing I saw, they're going to make that good.
Well, that's nice.
But that's 58 versus 5,500.
5,500? Yeah.
So it's a much bigger check to write. But
And I get it. They can't do it. The school that had the 5,500, but I feel bad for the one who opened it up. Because these are all individual people opening up thinking, I've got this, and then it's stripped away.
I got it. I got accepted. And oh my goodness, I'm not going to put a financial burden on my family or a strain to send me there. So, oh my goodness, my heart's just breaking for them.
Yeah.
But, maybe they will find some creative way to get them to the school. Hopefully, something that they can give them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And somebody's got to fix that computer.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
I used to follow the NFL. I don't much anymore. But I think I've heard more stories of how emotional some people have been over the Bengals than any other year of Super Bowls.
Is it because it's been like 3 decades? Am I right in
I have
that?
no
Something
idea.
like a long
No idea.
time.
It's Rob and Liz, his morning crew on his radio. But Jim has been a long time fan. I mean, Jim loves this. And all of a sudden, when they made that winning kick that got them into the Super Bowl, Jim is moved to tears. So much so that this was posted on social media. Jim is 86 years old. Jim was at the very first game of the Bengals in
wow,
a stadium
no
called
wonder.
Nippert Stadium. He was there. So forever. And then Jim is moved to tears, and he's sitting in his chair, his easy chair, and he has a blanket on, and he's moved to tears, and he brings the blanket up and over his face, and he's crying and moved to that. That has moved so many people that this beautiful thing has happened.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't get into football at all, and so moved by this story because it's a man and his passion. Jim is 86. Jim is 86, been there since the beginning. Somebody started a GoFundMe page to send him to the Super Bowl. Send him to see this game.
It's not cheap. I saw tickets to the Super Bowl. The cheap seats are like $7,000. That's the cheap seats. That's the nosebleed stuff, way up there. $42,000, just a tad over that, has been raised to send this gentleman to see the Super Bowl.
Right, and I think that GoFundMe's only been up for less than a week.
3 hours.
Something like that. I think a little more than that. But yeah, they want to send him. I think Jim is going to end up, what do you think, 50-yard line? Think they can get him there?
I hope so.
That'd
It would be
awesome.
beautiful if they let him just right down there on the bench with the players.
Come out with the players. He's an original fan.
Right?
Why would you not? How could you not? Okay, whoever owns the Bengals, give Jim a call.
The Bengals?
Did I say the Bengals?
You certainly did.